How's it going, everyone? Want to give you guys a heads up on a very important note on PlayStation Plus. Look, we love covering the extra and premium games rolling in, but you should be aware of the fact that a bunch of games will be rolling out of the service here next week, just on Tuesday. So this is coming up very, very quickly. So let's talk about that. Armored Core 6, one of the more anticipated games for the rest of this year, gets a bit of an update. We do have the preload date for that, and we have the download size on Xbox, which should be pretty similar to what it is on PlayStation. We'll talk that, and another game has gone gold ahead of its release. We'll talk that at the end of this video, but first of all, PlayStation Plus, obviously a bevy of new games are rolling into the service, but with that, games are rolling out. You've got Sea of Stars, you've got Moving Out 2, you've got Lost Judgment coming into the service, which all of that is great given that Sea of Stars, Moving Out 2, both day one releases, but you've got some major games leaving the service, including Borderlands 3, Nidhogg, DCL the Game, Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, and Kiwami 2, so even with a major RGG title entering the service with Lost Judgment, kind of surprising that some major titles are exiting the service with the first three Yakuza titles. At this point, can you really jump into Yakuza 0 and complete it? I mean, if you go absolutely no life, yeah, you could complete Yakuza 0, but I probably wouldn't recommend that. Yakuza 0 goes on sale all the time, so I would just recommend you to buy it when it sees a sizable discount, but it is what it is. Definitely a game that's of high quality, but for now, I would say, you know, buy it when it is available, and Kiwami and Kiwami 2 are the games that are follow-ups. Kiwami is a remake of Yakuza 1, Kiwami 2, obviously a remake of Yakuza 2. Grip is leaving the service, The Crew 2 is leaving the service, which makes all the sense in the world given that Motorfest is coming out in just a little bit. I think it's September or October. That's one of those games that got announced, and I'm sorry there hasn't been a ton of buzz for it. It's not like Crew is this gigantic IP, but makes sense that Crew 2 is leaving. 8-Bit Armies is leaving the service, and Carmageddon Max Damage. All of the games are, in fact, leaving the service, so go jump on them if you do want to play them at this point. You know, you don't have that much time, so you know, ultimately, the decision is up to you on whether or not you want to try any of the games out at this point, or you want to wait for some sort of discount so you can play them later. Moving on from that, Armored Core 6. This is one of these games that I think is going to do incredibly well and probably surprise people in just how well it does. Armored Core has never been this gigantic franchise. However, based on the fact it's from Software that has just completely, you know, they've reinvented themselves in terms of their worldwide appeal over the last few years, over the last, let's say, decade, and it's been a long time since Armored Core has seen a new entry, so you have that, you know, absence makes the heart grow fonder effect going on here. You have the fact that From Software is a way bigger studio now, and you have the fact that, hey, big budget mecha action games, just a genre that isn't really delved into all that much. With all of that being said, we now know that Armored Core 6's download size is going to be around 53 gigabytes, and the preload will be kicking off on August the 23rd on PlayStation. On Xbox, the preload is actually available right now, which is just crazy to think about, that they're offering the preload, what is it, 16 days ahead of the official release? 15 days ahead of the official release, but that's a sizable amount of time. And then on PlayStation, you get the preload 48 hours before. That should be enough time to get your preload done, but still, would have liked to see a little bit of a jump start on that. Armored Core 6 looks fantastic. You guys know me. I've been complaining about the lack of mecha games for how long? Seemingly years and years, and now we finally have a big budget one. We have had other titles. Project Nimbus is a game that, you know, I'll talk about every now and again, but we're talking about budget titles. This is a full-fledged $60 game, a AAA title by one of the best studios on the planet, and yes, I know there's a lot of that dialogue online right now, and should it be cross-gen? Look, we are so starving of high-quality mecha titles that the fact that this game is cross-gen, if that's what it takes to get this game, A, to more people, B, for Bandai Namco to greenlight it and fund it, I don't really care. The game itself, from a visual standpoint, I think looks great. I think the game has that over-the-top, high-octane mecha feel that I want out of a mech game, and it looks like something that a lot of people are going to end up enjoying. By the way, if you haven't played any of the Armored Core games, don't worry, you can jump into this no problem, and you'll be good to go. This is its own story, and if you do pre-order now, you do receive some bonus content. You have the C3 G13 special customization, you have the Melander C3 part set, and that's an early unlock, an emblem of an early unlock, exclusive Armored Core decal, and the part set and the emblem can also be obtained by progressing through the game. So there is also a digital deluxe edition, that isn't anything to write home about. All that includes is a digital art book and a soundtrack, so yeah, you're just kind of getting fleeced $10 if you do want that. I'm not a big fan of the digital art book and the digital soundtrack gimmick. Digital soundtrack is fine, but art book, come on, man. I'd like to see a physical hard copy of that, but you know, as we move more and more to digital, understand where they're going for this. I think this is going to surprise a lot of people on how this game does commercially. Based on the previews we've seen, it seems like the people that got their hands on it have really enjoyed it, and I just think this game is going to do really, really well. It's still a $60 title, not a $70 game, which I appreciate, and again, it has a lot of factors working for it. It's also coming at a time period where there is a little bit of a lull in game releases, and Armored Core 6 is one of the first very big ones that I think people are excited about in the wave of just gargantuan release after gargantuan release. Speaking of gargantuan release, I don't know if you want to consider this a gargantuan release, but Immortals of Aveum has in fact gone gold ahead of its PlayStation 5 release on August the 22nd. Now, Immortals of Aveum is being done by Ascendant Studios. It's a part of the EA Originals program, and the game itself, I think, looks pretty solid. The issue is, this is a brand new IP, and it's $70. Look, I think some games, $70 is really no big deal, but I look at games like Immortals of Aveum, and I look at games like, I forget the name of it, but it's Don't Nod's new title, and I'm just like, this game is $70? Like, yo, the Call of Duties, a lot of those sports games that people are going to buy regardless, the $10 isn't going to affect them that much. However, Immortals of Aveum and that game by Don't Nod that I'm sorry I forget the name of, this targets an audience, like a game like Immortals of Aveum, let's take it. This game targets an audience that buys a lot of games and that plays a lot of games, so that audience is going to be a little bit more selective on what they buy. They just have to be because there are so many games coming out. So when a game like Immortals of Aveum comes out at $70, I do believe that does push some people away. Some of you guys might think I'm crazy and be like, it's just $10, but $10 for an EA title, looks like it's a single-player game that I don't think it's going to be too lengthy. Like, I love the look, I love the feel of the game in terms of how it looks like it's going to play. This over-the-top first-person magic action game looks like something that'll be right up my alley. It's just $70 is a little bit of a hard sell for a game like this. We'll see how it turns out. Look, I'm happy that EA is investing into new IPs. The EA Originals program also put out Wild Hearts, which I thought was a really solid game, but that's a game that did go on sale very, very quickly, so we'll see what the story is with Immortals of Aveum. At some point, the game, you would think, would be added to EA Access as well. I'm sure nobody wants to wait that long, so, you know, that is something to consider, and it's probably not going to get added for like a year and a half. I would have to think at least that time frame. However, this is exactly the type of game that if you're not going to buy it at launch, 3 months from now, Black Friday rolls around, you're probably going to get this for $30, $35, and that's probably going to be a far more palatable price point for a lot of you guys. But that is going to do it for me. Again, PlayStation Plus Extra, a lot of games leaving next week. Jump on them if you want, but at this point, probably best to figure out the games you want to buy or not. The Yakuza games, Borderlands 3, probably the most notable of the departures. Armored Core 6 coming out August 25th. Looks like it's going to be a 53 gigabyte install. August 23rd for the preload on PlayStation. Immortals of Aveum has gone gold ahead of its PS5 release. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.